Hi friends, Miss Downs here. I'm just bringing a nice story to you. It's one of my favorite stories ever, and reminds me of something that you may not know about me. When I was your age, I wanted to study whales. It was my dream to go out into the water and study these magnificent creatures that lived in this whole other world. But unfortunately, like many people, wasn't very good at science. I struggled in science and I struggled in math. And in order to study these amazing creatures, I was going to have to go and do a lot of science. So sometimes life works out the way it's supposed to. I did end up, as you know, working with a lot of animals, just not under the water. But someday I hope maybe I might be able to go and study whales still. But this is one of my favorite books, and I hope you will enjoy it. It's called The Whale's Song, and it's by Dyan Sheldon. Paintings by Gary Blythe. Lily's grandmother told her a story. Once upon a time, she said, the ocean was filled with whales. They were as big as the hills. They were as peaceful as the moon. They were the most wondrous creatures you could ever imagine. Indeed. Lily climbed on top of her grandmother's lap. I used to sit at the end of the pier and listen for whales, said Lily's grandmother. Sometimes I'd sit there all day and all night. Then, suddenly, I'd see them coming towards me from miles away. They moved through the water as if they were dancing. But why did they swim to you, Grandma? Asked Lily. How did they know you were there? Lily's grandmother smiled. Oh, you had to bring them something special. Perfect shell or a beautiful stone. And if they liked you, the whales would take your gift and give you something in return. What would they give you, Grandma? Asked Lily. What did you get from the whales? Lily's grandmother sighed. Once or twice, she whispered. Once or twice, I heard them sing. Lily's great uncle Frederick stomped into the room. That's nothing but a silly old tale, he snapped. Whales are important for their meat, and for their bones, and for their blubber. And if you tell Lily about whales, then tell her something useful. Don't fill her head with nonsense. Singing whales. Indeed. There were whales here millions of years before ships or cities or even cave dwellers, continued Lily's grandmother. People used to say they were magical. People used to eat them and boil them down for oil, grumbled Lily's great uncle Frederick. He stomped back out of the room. Oops, sorry. That night, Lily's dreams were about whales. In her dreams, she saw them as large as mountains and bluer than the sky. And in her dreams, she heard them singing, their voices like wind. And in her dreams, they leapt from the water and called her name. In the morning, Lily went down to the ocean, to the place where no one fished or swam or sailed. She walked to the end of the old pier. The water was empty and very still, and she took a beautiful yellow flower out of her pocket and dropped it into the water. "This is for you," she called into the air. Lily sat at the end of the pier and waited. She waited all morning and all afternoon. Then, as dusk began to fall, Uncle Frederick came down the hill after her. "Enough of this foolishness," he said. "Come on home. You can't be dreaming your life away." That night, Lily awoke. Suddenly, the room was bright with moonlight, and she sat up and she listened. The house was quiet. Lily climbed out of bed and went to the window. She could hear something in the distance on the far side of the hill. She raced outside and down to the shore, her heart pounding as she reached the sea. There, enormous in the ocean, were the whales. They leapt and jumped and spun across the moon, and their singing just filled the night. And Lily saw her yellow flower dancing on the spray. Minutes passed, maybe hours, and suddenly Lily felt the breeze of the rustle of her nightgown and the cold nip at her toes. She shivered, rubbed her eyes. Then it seemed the ocean was still again, and the night was dark and silent. Lily thought she must have been dreaming. She stood up and turned towards home. Then, from far, far away, on the breath of the wind, she heard, "Lily, Lily." The whales were calling her name. The end. Isn't that a lovely story? It's one of my favorites. It's always been my favorite, still is my favorite. It always gives me hope, and it always gives me the energy and the courage to keep working and moving forward. And maybe someday you'll work with whales or animals. But it's just such a lovely story, and I think the paintings are absolutely astonishing. So I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you, and I miss all of you very much. And I'm so excited that you continue to do art at home with me every week and being creative. And I look forward to being able to teach art with you in person. Take care.